Hi, this is Web Surfer Murph. I'm here today to talk to you about the pandemic. Back on January 26th, I issued on my blog potential pandemic and things to be concerned over. Back then, I did say that the total deaths in America could hit 2.7 million. I did this through some computations. I didn't post them at the time, and I got a lot of pushback that my target was pretty high. So on next post on March 5th, I published the math, and at that time we had 320 known infections in the United States with an 11 death count. I projected it outwards to where we should be next. So I do have an update that's going to show you next. I think it's on the 19th. Yep, the March 19th. So we should have 44 dead and about 1,200 infected. But instead, we find that we have 14,000 infected and 218 dead. So that caused me to refactor the statistics. One of the things I even report over here is I cut the death rate from 3.4 to 1.53. I think this was an error at the time for me to do this. I was just trying to make the math work, but I think it was just because we were in the throes of the start of this that there was some probably unusual readings or things that weren't quite known at the time. So moving along to April 6th. So on April 6th, we had expected 1,700 dead. Instead, we have over 10,000. And then projecting forward, we would have hit about 200,000 where we are today by I guess, March 2nd. But I did post back on the 19th that I said I think the rate infection slowed down dramatically in 3 weeks when the actual things that we are doing would prevent the infection rate. So on April 6th was just shy of the 3 weeks before, so we wouldn't have seen the decrease yet. Anything we saw, the increase, maybe this is some catch up, could be. But the one thing I want to kind of point out here is this mortality rate. So we do have 367,385 identified infected with about 10,000 dead. Remember, at this time, the testing was woefully inadequate, tons of complaints. Later on, even a few months ago, we've had calls that testing is overdone. Everybody's getting tested, too much testing, and that we are inflating artificially the number of infected by over testing, meaning that we are finding cases that we wouldn't have found, which was dramatically inflating the test case. Now, let's just go with that's true. Let's just say that if we were doing the same aggressive testing back in April 6th to what we have more currently, that instead we'd have like say 2 million infected or something much larger. What would have happened is that the infected rate would be higher, the death rate would still be the same. Test them out, they're dead. And then the infected rate, the mortality rate, I should say, would be lower because this number would be bigger and the relationship would be different. So if we go to today, we have 6,548,000. Remember, this is artificially high, but aggressive testing with 195,000 dead. So I want to go over to a spreadsheet to pull this up. So we have 367,000, 2.96 mortality rate equals 10,000. So let's plug in this number, 6,548,341, 193,000. So the mortality rate is actually higher now with that aggressive testing. So the question is, if the testing is excessive and higher, how come the mortality rate isn't lower? My guess is that people who are getting tested, even though there's a lot more now, is people who actually are concerned. They have a symptom. Some don't have it, some do. But you're finding actually what is infected because when the people are sick and concerned about, I don't know, death, they actually go and get a test. So with this mortality rate staying steadfast since April 6th, let's now extrapolate. Let's just say we decided to go hog wild and we have 300 million people in the United States. And for the benefit of, I know there's all sorts of numbers for herd immunity. Let's just say it's half. All right. And maybe herd immunity peters out, meaning You don't have to have half, but some people still keep getting infected past herd immunity. We'd have 4 million dead. So my question is that acceptable? And if I'm wrong, please tell me how the math is wrong. I would like to learn from you more. Thank you so much.